There is nothing worse than not having a place to hang your jacket or hats. Today, I'm building a coat and hat rack using a handful of beautiful hardwood scraps. Pieces like walnut, cherry, zebrawood, purple heart, and birch. The first step is heading over to the miter saw. I set up a stop block so every piece comes out exactly the same. Then I cut both ends of each scrap at 45 degrees. Those angles give the pieces a clean shape, and later on, they'll let the wood tilt outward just a bit. Next, I move over to the drill press. To keep everything lined up, I make a small jig that holds each piece steady. Then I drill a hole through the bottom of every piece. That hole will allow a wooden dowel to run through all of them, holding together everything while still letting the pieces move just slightly. With the hardwood pieces ready, it's time to build the frame. For that, I'm using oak. It's strong, dependable, and it frames the colorful hardwoods really nicely. I cut 5 pieces of oak for the frame and drill matching holes in the sides so the dowel can pass all the way through. Before assembling everything, I like to bring out the natural beauty of the wood, so each piece gets wiped down with butcher block mineral oil. As the oil soaks in, the grain comes alive, the color deepens, and the wood takes on a rich, natural finish. Now comes the part where it all comes together. I slide the dowel through one side of the oak frame and begin adding the hardwood pieces, one by one, in a random order. Mixing the different woods creates a rack that's full of character. Once the pieces are all in place, the dowel continues through the other side of the oak frame. To hold it securely, I drive a small brad nail into the back of each oak side piece. That keeps the dowel locked in place while the front stays clean and simple. With the sides finished, I attach the top and bottom pieces of the frame with a few brad nails, bringing the whole rack together. Next, I install 2 hangers on the back side of the top rail so the rack can mount easily to the wall. All that's left now is installing it with 2 screws. And just like that, a handful of hardwood scraps becomes something both practical and beautiful. A simple rack, perfect for holding hats, jackets, and coats, while showing off the natural beauty of real wood.
One of the things I love is the use of wood beams in design, but it would be too expensive and difficult to install wood beams in this condo. So we're going to create faux wood beams instead. I purchased wood from Lowe's. I used 1x6s and 1x4s. I started by staining the wood to the color that I felt would work in my space. Be sure to stain the front and also the sides. You can choose to distress your wood prior to this step if that's the look you like. Once everything was stained and dry, I needed to measure the height that I needed for the wood. I set some LVP flooring pieces in place because that's the kind of flooring we're going to use here, and I wanted to make sure that I cut the height of the wood to what I needed once the flooring was there. Once the wood was cut to the proper length, I started by attaching the 6-inch wide piece along the inside frame of the doorway. The next step was to attach the 1x4 board, making sure that it overlapped the 6-inch board and made for a really nice corner. I repeated this on the other side, and then I was ready to work on the center area. I didn't want to measure and cut this piece until the sides were in place, so that I would have an accurate measurement. Once that was in place, again using the nail gun, the last step was to place the final piece along the top border. I made sure to cut that piece to meet the outer edges of the side pieces, so that way everything lines up and looks seamless. I love the way this easy project upgraded this hallway. It looks like there are wood beams here, while really it was just under $100 in materials and just a few hours of work.
We started by marking and cutting this piece of wood right in half. This will make it a lot easier to work with. We then marked and cut 3 pieces at 16 inches. We then marked and cut 1 piece at 12 inches. Here are the 3 16-inch pieces and 1 12-inch piece all cut. Next, we set up our table saw to 5.5 inches wide. Each 16-inch piece will get ran through, as well as the 12-inch piece. Then for our next cut, we readjusted our table saw to 3 15/16. Only grabbing our 16-inch pieces for this, we placed the nicely cut square end along the fence of the table saw. We readjusted the table saw one last time to 4.5 inches. Only grabbing our 12-inch pieces for this one, we are running those through with the nice square side along the fence. Grabbing our palm sander, we used 100 grit sandpaper to sand all 4 sides as well as the 2 ends of the pieces of wood. Now it's time to clean off the boards so they are ready to get stained. Using a microfiber cloth, or a tack cloth, you wipe down each board. When it comes to staining, I like to wear gloves. We are using the color dark walnut for this, but you can use any color you like. After giving your stain a nice stir, it is time to apply. Now there are multiple ways you can apply stain, but this is my preferred method, using a foam brush. You can also use a regular paintbrush. Grabbing a rag I had on hand, I wiped off the excess stain that wasn't needed. Once all the boards were stained and fully dry, it was time to apply the top coat. I like to apply a top coat using a brush. This gives me the smoothest finish. I applied this to as many sides as I could, let it dry, and then flipped it over, and then applied it to the remainder of the board. Once it was completely dry, I lightly sanded with 220 grit sandpaper. Once that second top coat is dry, we are ready to assemble. Coming in 3/4 of an inch from the end, and 1 inch from each edge of each piece of wood, we use our speed square to make a mark. You then repeat the same process on this other end. We place our speed square 3/4 of an inch in. From there, we find the very edge of each individual board and place a mark 1 inch in. This will leave 6 marks on this end and 6 marks on the other end. This is where the future screws will be going. Grabbing the two 12-inch pieces, as well as one 16-inch piece, we will start to assemble. Once everything is lined up nice and flush, we find our first mark that we previously made and drill a pilot hole. Using our impact driver, we place a 2.5-inch deck screw. For now, we just have the 2 screws in place. Grabbing another 16-inch board, making sure it's lined up nice and flush with the 12-inch pieces, you then will drill 1 pilot hole in this corner and then place the screw. We wanted to check our spacing, so we grabbed another 16-inch piece and placed it in the middle. Once we confirmed our spacing was fine, we drilled another pilot hole and placed another screw. It is now time to attach these hairpin legs that I found on Amazon. We placed these 3/8 of an inch in from the side and the front. We then drilled 4 pilot holes, only going down about an inch. Now don't be like us. You would normally place a piece of tape on your drill bit to know when to stop drilling. And now we could secure the leg using the provided screws that came with. This makes for the perfect size nightstand with a little shelf in the middle for extra storage.
I knew shiplap could be used for some great DIY projects, but I never imagined I could DIY this in just 2 days. I started with this plain wall. I identified where the studs are and marked those with a piece of green painter's tape. The first thing I did was to create a side frame that came out from the wall. To do this, I cut 2x4s to the height of the wall. I cut one piece to go flush against the wall and another at the height of the ceiling, 9.5 inches from the wall. I put these pieces together to create a sturdy frame and added 2 support boards inside just to help strengthen it. I created 2 of these frames and then attached them to the stud locations on the wall. I used several long screws to make sure that it was very secure and also used a level to make sure that it was plumb or straight going up the wall. Once both side frames were installed, I moved on to creating a bottom frame. For my measurements, this bottom frame was 50 inches wide and 12 inches high. I put this together with 2 additional 2x4 pieces as supports on the inside. This fit perfectly inside my 2 side frames. The next step was to level it. Mine was not level, so I needed to add a shim to the bottom left side so that it would lift the frame a bit while I screwed it into place. I added 2x4s to help create an area larger than this for the fireplace to sit into and attach to. I created one more frame. This was the upper frame. Similarly, it was just 2x4s up to the ceiling. Once that upper frame was put together, I had some help lifting it in place and then secured that with several screws. One other thing I did was to add some 2x4s approximately where I thought the TV would mount. Okay, that was the hard part. Now let's get on to the fun part. I cut shiplap pieces and painted them using a paint sprayer. It's difficult to paint the grooves of shiplap, and the sprayer makes that part super easy. The color I used was Sherwin-Williams Urban Bronze. I started attaching the shiplap from the top. The reason I did this was so that if there's any gap when I get to the bottom, then I can just cover that with baseboard. I used the nail gun to attach it to the wood frame. If you nail it just where the tongue part is, then you cover it with the next board and you won't have any nail holes to cover up later. Of course, now that I say that, I have to show you that it doesn't always work. I had a piece here that was bowed out a little and didn't sit securely enough for me by just nailing it at the tongue piece. So I did add one more nail to secure it toward the top. I'll go over this with a little more paint later and make sure it isn't visible. I continued adding shiplap all around, and then, when it came to the fireplace area, I cut out the shiplap a little bit to frame it around the opening. You can do this with a jigsaw or multi-tool. I continued working my way down, and I have to admit, I got really lucky that my last piece of shiplap ended exactly on the floor. This was not great measuring or anything I can attribute to myself. I just got really lucky here. I may still add baseboard to it later when I add it to the rest of the wall so that it'll look perfectly built in. The electric fireplace comes with brackets that you attach to the side, and then these brackets attach to the shiplap and the 2x4 behind it. From here, I added the decorative rocks and placed the glass cover onto the fireplace. I had someone else add an electrical outlet into my build since this wasn't something I was comfortable doing myself. Trim pieces, these are called the outer corner trim pieces at the hardware store, cover up the edges and make it look professional. And that's it. I turned it on and I was so happy with the way it turned out. This electric fireplace is designed to fit inside a wall, so any heat vents forward, and the heat can also be turned off so that it's just a light feature. There's of course no actual fire going on here next to a bunch of shiplap and 2x4s. I hope this inspired you to build a cool fireplace insert of your own. Thanks for watching Home Talk, and see you next time.